Welcome back to another episode of Your Bookshelf Besties. I'm Ashley,
And I'm Brandy.
and today we're going to be talking about the ultimate book boyfriends, our top men that we would die for, or they would die for us, most likely.
Obviously.
Yeah, we wouldn't
There's
have
no
to.
other way.
Yeah, we wouldn't have to die for them. They would die for us. But if worse comes to worse, we would have to lay our lives down for them.
Yep. And willing, obviously,
Yeah.
because these men are that great to us.
Yeah. Yeah. So
mine are all fantasy guys, obviously. She's got one human.
which he's pretty great. I don't know. He was great.
If he was, yeah, I mean, it's just what you feel when you're reading
Yeah,
it. That's
exactly.
the only thing you can go off of, what your heart wants.
Exactly.
Starting off for me, my top 10, so this is the 10th person, so he's my least.
We'll start at the bottom.
The bottom. He's my least wanted,
Right.
but still very much treasured. Would be Aiden Ashervere.
Okay.
Ashervere, I think that's how you say it. Yeah, he's just so loyal to his cousin, Aelin, Throne of Glass series, and just honorable, good moral compass, and just willing to destroy everyone and anything to save his kingdom. I mean, I don't know. He was just written so well, and I really grew to love that character. He wasn't even one of the main guys in that story, and I was still just like obsessed with him. He's blonde, so I'm obviously the least obsessed with him out of all of my obsessions.
I think I have like one blonde guy. My one at the bottom is Dante from the Fractured Freedom book, which he's my human. But I just really, I'm not huge into military men, which is weird because my husband was in the military. But I don't know. There's something about him that I was like, okay.
I've never
like,
even heard of that series.
It's not a series. It's just Fractured.
It's just
it might be a series actually, but I don't know. I saw it on TikTok. I don't even remember. It's by Shane. I think her name's Shane Rose. Maybe Fractured Freedom. He was great. He was like protective and everything you would want in like a guy that just like really like wanted to be there for somebody. Okay. It was a little mafia though, and you don't like mafia. So it was like military mafia. Maybe that's why I didn't dislike it as much, because it wasn't like just military factor. It was like mafia was mixed in, but he would
still
come
doesn't
in.
sound like my cup of tea.
No, yeah. He would come in at the bottom for me.
Okay. Yeah, my 9th person is going to be Cardan from the Cruel Prince series. Again, I know you haven't read that series, but he's actually probably, I would say, out of everybody on my list, the only person that I would consider like a morally great person. Because I really am like, sometimes I'm like, I don't know where your morality is. I don't know if you're like one of those guys who's willing to pretend to be bad and like not really be bad. I'm like, I think he's actually pretty like walks the line between good and bad frequently. Okay. Which is part of his charm for me, is the morally gray, but I feel like it's done in a way that I'm like, it's not repulsive to me, where I'm like, that's such a turn off. He's a terrible fae.
It's a good morally gray.
Yeah, it's a believable one for me, at least. And he's sarcastic and he's fun and just gives no, and except for the girl interest, but they have a huge enemies to lovers, so it's a very much like a game for a little bit between them. But I really loved him in that also, even with his tail. But and his fan art's hot.
I haven't read the series, so I don't know. I think I don't have mine in order, so I'm just kind of guessing who would be next for me. And I think it would be Finn from These Hollow Vows.
He's that high up on your list?
The bottom.
Yeah, the bottom. That's what I meant. Yeah. I thought he would be closer to the bottom.
He is at the bottom. I'm starting at the bottom.
So he's like 8 instead of 3rd?
He's like 9.
That's what I'm saying.
You think he should be higher?
He's higher on mine. But not much higher. Just continue. Well, I thought you really loved him a lot.
Actually, I do really love him a lot. So really, I don't know. I'm just literally going in the order I wrote them, which was not in the order they should be. But I would say Aaron Warner probably would be my 9th.
Okay.
From Shatter Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I did really love Finn.
Yeah.
And we have a kitty visitor. Okay, buddy. I think everybody kind of likes Aaron Warner though.
Yeah.
He is, I think I would consider him morally gray.
Yeah. I don't think he ever really truly like felt a need to be super good, except for maybe to be a little different than his father, and then to be better for Juliet.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think that was because like inside he like wanted that. He just was like, I want to be better than my dad, and I need to be better for Juliet.
Yes.
And that's, I mean, he wasn't set up for success though. His dad was a shitty person, you know. So I'm
yeah,
I get it.
So he would be 9 for me, I guess. Yeah.
He also has super hot fan art. They all have hot fan
art. He's blonde.
He is blonde.
Yeah.
He is a blonde one, which is why he's probably not on my list.
There you go.
And then I have for 8, I have. I don't want this to be like a spoiler, so we'll just call him Commander Rip from the Plated Prisoner series. I'm just gonna leave it at that because
I haven't read that either.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, yes. Obviously, I had read ACOTAR and I was like on a hunt to find something to fill the hole in my heart after reading that a year and a half ago or whenever that was. So I went through my little phase of trying to recreate that feeling. You know?
I want to read that series this year. Is it?
Yeah. So they're I don't know if it's the last one or not, but their 4th book is coming out.
December, right?
Yeah, in December.
Gosh, cat.
Myself from the mic, kitty.
Why don't you go lay down? Thank you.
I like him again because he's one of those guys who's like willing to look like the bad guy, and he's not really the bad guy. Noble intentions, super hot. So
I think that's a lot to do with like Aaron Warner as well. Yeah, because like he's always getting played as the bad guy, but he's not really the bad guy. Yeah. Right. Gosh. So my next. So then I would say my next one there would be. Okay, so Finn would definitely go higher up. My next one, my number 8 would be North. Okay. From
North Draven. Yeah. From Ties That Bond. I think it's Ties That Bond, right? Bonds That Tie.
Bonds That Tie, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
I know that sounds crazy because everybody like Knox, but
North is on my list. Knox isn't on my or
really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because North is like, I'm a sucker for a guy in a suit. Yeah. And like when you have like that put together. Yeah. Good guy, bad guy kind of thing. Like he's like protective and he's like got his life together and he wears a suit and I'm just like, okay, definitely on my list.
So you're saying that you have North on your list?
North, not Knox. Yeah.
Same here. I picked North.
Really?
Which he's my 6th, so I'll get into that when I get to 6. But yeah, no, I get that. Actually, I'm just gonna go into it now. So this guy's actually next on my list. So I have one above him, but I'm gonna touch on that because I'm like, I think why I love North is because me personally being how I am, like I'm like I want someone to boss me around in a respectfully like hot way. You know what I mean? Not in like some of these other guys that I don't like, but in his way, I'm like, yes, like he has plans, he's got a goal, he's got an action plan that I'm like, I will follow that. That makes sense. Yes. You know what I mean? So
he has his life put together. In my eyes, I'm like, he's like the bot. I think that's why this person is obviously not on my list because I haven't read these books in ages. But like, if you go back to the beginning of like what like tipped off like the erotica smut books, if you go back to 50 Shades of Grey, like everybody loved Christian Grey because he like had his life together and he's like you know like he has a business. Like to me, like that is very attractive in a man. So I'm like, okay, he like wears a suit and he's put together and he is bossy and he like cares about her. So yeah, I guess he would be. What was I on? 8, 9, 7. I don't know what I was on anymore. I'm losing. Mine aren't in order, okay? I'm just going to go through
7,
my list.
I think. That was 7.
Because I've already been through, what, Aaron Warner and Dante.
Yeah. But no, I really like North because I'm like, if there was a guy who I was going to actually let, like, guide me a little bit better and, like, plan for me, I'm like, this is the guy that I feel like could do it the best. Yep. So to me, that was very sexy. Plus Knox, like, even though his fan art is kind of hotter and, like, his moodiness is supposed to be hotter, he's too temperamental for me. Yeah. I'm like, I can't do that. Like, realistically, I'm too temperamental and another temperamental. Like, we're just going to be crazy and it's not going to be a good time. Yeah. So who was your next person after that?
Oh, gosh. Who have I done? This one. So I guess after that would be... Mine are all the same. I love everybody the same. I don't know why.
That's fair. That's
okay.
fair because
so
honestly, a lot of people remember only what they made
all
them
of these
feel.
are like the same. So I'm just gonna go up in order from there. So I would say we'll just go with Finn.
Yeah.
From these Hollow Vows. I just
loved him. That's fair enough. I get it.
I just loved him.
I did.
I don't know if I have like a huge explanation. The fact that I just thought he was great. He was a better character. He was the dark haired character. So
winner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, for my next person that was actually on top of North, but I just jumped to him, the other guy, because you were talking about him, is Ruin Danon from Crescent City.
Yep.
I'm going to be so honest, it is strictly because of TikTok and fan art with that Ruin Danon. And then all those hot pictures. Yes. I was like, oh my God.
Yes, I've seen that too, and I'm like, who is this guy? Because I've not read those books either. Because I want to
know him. Yeah. Yes. So I was a really big fan of him also in the books, but like, I mean, that ingrained something into my heart, into my mind, into that feral part of me where I was just like, okay, he's on the list. He's up there. So yeah, he is on my list for sure. He's the 7th one, but again, it's pretty much just from like the fan art and those TikToks of the Valerian Fae.
Crown Prince of the Valerian. Yes, exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about. I would say my next one. I'm just gonna go through my list so I don't lose track here. I forgot I have 2 humans on here. So Dom from Ravenhood.
Okay.
Just because he's a bad boy.
He's a bad boy.
We love a good bad boy.
We love a good bad boy
who reads books in bed and like loves rainy days. Like that is the ultimate.
That is the ultimate.
That
boyfriend.
Is the ultimate boyfriend. He wants to read books with you in bed on rainy days. Yeah. Done. Let's go. To the altar we go. Done.
How come Caleb wasn't on your list?
Who?
Is his name Caleb?
No.
I always call him Caleb.
Sean? The other character? He's too much of a golden retriever. I don't know if I love golden retriever energy in guys.
No, that's fair.
Explains why I married who I married. No.
Yeah. Okay, no, that makes sense. And he's blonde.
Yep.
Okay, so my next person is Finn. Just because I loved the honor he had for his kingdom that he was trying to save, and
he was just great.
He really was. Again, I think wasn't he also taking heat for like being evil when he wasn't?
He was like the bad guy.
That's my favorite trope. Is when guys are being portrayed as the bad guy, but they're really not. They've got more honor and more truth than the other person who's deeming them the bad guy and the enemy.
But this duology or whatever you want to call it was so hard because neither guy was the bad guy, really.
That was really hard for me to swallow because I'm like Sebastian. I was like, I also liked him.
I kept waiting for Sebastian to be the bad guy, but he wasn't.
He wasn't. He never did it, or he never even had a moment where it lapsed and he was like, I'll be the bad guy. It was like he still was really noble even in the end. Yep. He risked everything and gave up everything so that that was a hard pill to swallow. Better, though. Yeah, me too. Who's your next?
So my next is gonna be another human. I had 3 humans on here. I didn't even realize.
Girl, your head's not.
This is also like really hard for me to even like put this on this list because in the book he's like 18. So to me is like, oh, youngin. Yeah. But Jameson Hawthorne from the Hawthorne Brothers books or whatever they're called.
Inheritance ones?
Yeah, the Inheritance games. There you go. Just because he is like so fun. Like in the book, I don't know. He's like, if I was 18, that's who I would want my boyfriend to be. And I think that's why.
Okay.
Like, he like plays like the little games along with her, and he's like very like quizzical, and he like some of the other characters, the other brother characters are like very serious, and he's like the less serious one, and he is always like trying to like just have fun. Like there's a part in the book where he's like walking on the edge of like not a cliff, but like a ledge. He's walking on a ledge essentially of like of the roof, and like the female character's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm just out here like
walking on a ledge,
living my life. Like, and I'm like, okay, like I don't know, I really liked him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I said, that's like if I was 18, I'd be like, yeah, this is who I want my boyfriend to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
My fourth person is Darius Acrux from Zodiac Academy. Even though that series, even though that series is just kind of like the he was hot in the series and just he was kind of actually kind of mean to her for a little bit, but he was working on his own trauma. He had a lot of trauma that he was working on, again, doing better, being better than hopefully his dad, and trying to work towards more noble intentions.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that. Also, good character growth, because we love to see the progression in that. So, and he was covered in tattoos. I remember that. So, yep, he was fourth on my list. Who's your next one?
My next one, because I did that one. So I have 4 more because you started. So, this is where it gets real tricky for me because they're all kind of very, very recent.
Yeah.
Well, besides one, but
yeah.
I would say Death in the Belladonna series.
Okay, Silas. I almost put him
like Silas, Death, whatever.
Okay,
because I just really loved him. I loved like how protective he was of her. Like I loved how much he cared for her, and throughout the whole book, even just like picturing Death as Silas, I was like, okay, he's pretty cute.
See, the only reason I didn't put Death on here, even though I'm like completely agree, I thought he was amazing and perfect, but the only reason I didn't put him on is because I couldn't get a picture of like in my head what that would look like, you know?
I imagine he would look similar to like the fan art of like a mix between like all of my top. They all look the same.
And in my head, I'm like,
they all look the same to me though.
In my head, I imagine him with like a hooded cloak.
With I imagine him looking kind of like Jax, and Jax is my next on my list.
Okay.
Like dark hair, like little mischievous, like maybe a mix of like Reese and Xaden.
Didn't Jax have like white hair?
I think he had dark hair, but then it got changed.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I haven't read that series in a while either. But yeah, I couldn't picture Death, but I almost put him on.
Jax's hair changes.
Mm.
Remember?
Mm-hmm.
It's like golden and some and like changes back and forth.
Okay.
But Jax is next on my list.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Because Jax is just perfect. Because he's fun. Yeah. I have like this weird thing with guys that's like, I either want them like dark and mysterious, or I want them like fun and like sarcastic and like a little bit of a button pusher, but like that kind of thing. But not the golden retriever goofy, like the like dark goofy kind of thing. Like dark but kind of means you, kind of not, like wants to play a little bit of games with you. You know what I'm talking about? Like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. No, I get it too. I'm still trying to figure out how I pick out which guys I'm like, you're just an ass, but you're an ass, but it's funny and it works. You know what I mean? So I'm still figuring that out also. But my next person, I think I'm on my second person now. Oh, my third person is Xaden from Fourth Wing. I love him. Again, he's being portrayed as the bad guy.
Third, so now I'm very curious who's your top 2. Okay.
Yeah, you won't guess the second one because you haven't read it. I just read it. Yeah. But
Somebody from One Dark Window.
Yeah. Xaden, bad boy, he worked with the shadows. I was taken right away. Yeah. Black hair, I mean everything that I'm obsessed with, he encompasses, and he has that same trope of willing to be the bad guy or look the bad guy but not really be the bad guy. So obviously top 3.
Yeah. My my top 3 would be Jax would be 3 for me. And then my 1 and 2 are so like neck and neck, and it would be like Reese and Xaden. Yeah. Like those are my top 2. Yeah. Because in my head they look similar. Yeah. They look very similar.
Xaden seems like a younger
one. Yes. But they look very similar in my head. Yeah. Which is why those would be my top 2.
That makes sense.
So your top 1, your number 1 is Reese.
My number 1 is Reese. Yes, always, because I can't even help it. He's kind of what I model everything else after. Yes. I don't know if it was the time in my life that I read ACOTAR and how I fell into fantasy following that. So that's just automatically who I'm comparing all of the loves of my lives to.
Yep.
But that's just what happens. But my second person is Raven. I don't know if it's Raven or Raven. You from One Dark Window. He's the main love interest. I love him. I am so excited to see what happens between him and that character, the main character. And he's just like so protective right off the bat from her. Like, even when they're kind of supposed to be like, I don't want to say enemies necessarily, but they're not, they don't seem like they could be friends right off the bat. Like, they seem kind of like on opposing. He's part of the kingdom who is a part of getting rid of people who have the sickness, you know, and she's one of the people with the sickness. So she's just like kind of like, you're already on this enemy side, you know, but he's very protective of her from the get go. And I'm like, yep, love him. They need to end up together. Yep. So yeah, those are my 10 people.
That was my 10 people. Apparently I have 3 humans on there and I didn't realize.
Yeah. Ugh, I want to be out of this world.
I definitely.
But they can write them out of this world, so it's fine.
I definitely need to read One Dark Window though.
It's definitely so good.
High up on my list. I have so many other books I have to get through.
Yeah, I get that. My TBR is never ending. Never ending.
Never ending. Oh gosh. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's all.
Top 10. That was 20 amazing book boyfriends. Well, some were doubled up. But
yeah. But again, it's so hard to capture why we love these people. It's just more of a feeling of just remembering how they made you feel when you were reading about them and how they were with their women and how they were with their people and their kingdoms or whatever it was. It's just more of a feeling.
I think it's really hard to go back and reflect. I know when we were making this video, I was like, who is top? I didn't even think I could come up with 10.
Yeah.
And then as I was like scrolling my Goodreads, I was like, oh yeah, he definitely made me. But like you said, it's more of just like when you're reading that book in the moment, you're like, I love this person so much.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is kind of tough, honestly.
Yeah. It was a little tough, but we did it. Yep. So tell us who your ultimate book boyfriend is down in the comments, or who would be on your list, because we would love to know.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, I think that's it for us.
All right. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Bye.